joining me for some quiet time. Just settle in. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Take this time for you. While we take another look through another one of these lovely, pretty, nostalgic magazines. A vintage lifestyle magazine. Number 2 in the series. I love this picture of the piano, the plants around, and the mirror. And these, can you see these teacups? I haven't had a chance to look through myself. A couple of things to one side, just a little bit. I'll just shuffle it as we go. So we've got Get Involved, Top Bottom Drawers, Curiosities, Beside the Seaside, Vintage, Most Natural History. Some people have written in with pictures that they've done. Curiosities. I love that word. There's something automatically calming when you see an old tech chair. To me it's so quintessential English and actually surprisingly comfortable. Making candles with foraged shells. Daydream and adventure. Enchanted woodlands, cactus and cowboys and pirates. I love that kind of the whole thought of daydreaming and adventure. As everything at the end of the day starts as a daydream. Daydreaming is where it all begins. Teapot, 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 teapot. Making a travel journal. I did that once when I travelled through France and Spain. Just a few lines as we went along. Postcards. Do people still send postcards stitching and everything. But there's something nice, isn't there, about a postcard? Maybe it's because I just love paper, but there's just something, I don't know, nostalgic. I like it. Our recycled home. Nice old, see that brick. Nice old brick. I love a brick finish. And repurposing junk is innately creative. You have to use your imagination to visualize how to give old items new life. But I like that. With the drawers. I bought some tulips the other day, and I was really surprised how long they lasted. Children's books. The other day I read a fairy tale to my grandson, and I'd forgotten actually how good they are. Not always a happy ending, but I could see him getting drawn into it, and it was enjoyable to read as well. Enoch Blyton when I was growing up, and the Enchanted Wood I did start to read and record for ASMR videos. It didn't grab me, but I loved The Secret Seven, and I think it was Mallory Towers, and you certainly can't go wrong with Mary Poppins. I think I'd like to I did start a channel for the children, partly ASMR, but I'd like to go back and revisit that and perhaps just concentrate more on stories. Either just reading or recording some ones of my own, or just from the top of your head can be quite fun. Again, I love these suitcases. Back on the rails. When the farmer said, "I don't suppose you fancy a railway carriage, do you?" I nearly dropped the phone in excitement. They made a shop out of it. I got the keys 4 days before Christmas, which meant I was desperate for the festivities to be over, as I couldn't wait to get in, Emma told us. She came across the studio housed in a converted railway carriage by pure chance. Oh, she used it as a studio. How exciting. There's an old steam engine, a scattering of rusting shepherd huts, more than a few classic cars, and a full miniature railway line. Wonderful. Since moving in, Emma has been filling her carriage with props and stacks of leather suitcases, box brownies, battered storybooks, and mismatched crockery. I'm so jealous. One of her favourite props is a wind-up gramophone. Oh, it's so good. I love that. Oh, isn't that pretty? The drapes for an outdoor upcycled garden. Repurpose the garden to give new life to your once loved vintage treasures. Tea and scones. Ah, there's a picture. And I can't imagine it will last very well being outside. I guess if it served a purpose, the same as a put together a garden mood board. Mood boards aren't just for interior design. Create an inspiration wall for your greenhouse or display seed packets so you know what you have. Here we've painted a modern frame and backed it with an old pink feed sack. That's nice. Give a new lease of life to a favourite teapot. This one, number 2, is goodness me, they picked up that piano for £3.50. No. You could often find pianos for free if you're happy to foot the bill of moving them. Wow. Huh. I did not know that. Transform unused space. Oh, I feel quite inspired by this. That's number 5. That's number 6. Create a secret garden. Oh yes, please. Mirrors have the same effect outside as in, making your space feel larger. Outdoor mirrors also have a wonderfully surreal Alice in Wonderland feel. The right mirror can also look like a window into a secret garden beyond. I do, I feel inspired. Oh, and it goes on. Wonderful. Repurpose a biscuit tin. Yeah. Antique biscuit tin. You can use the pot plant. Plant up an old suitcase. Old suitcases make great planters, although they won't last forever if you leave them outside. Either fill your case with a layer of stones or drill holes in the bottom for drainage, then create your display. Make a bird bath from glassware. I did that in my garden with an old glass candle, sort of like a candelabra. I didn't want it inside anymore. Number 10, reuse an old wheelbarrow. I've often seen purpose-made wooden wheelbarrow planters and wondered why on earth don't you just use the rusty old barrow at the bottom of the garden, simply fill with a layer of stones, then plant with ferns in a shady corner. I must Google. I have a very old shed that's nearly falling apart, but I quite like the look of the old shed. It reminds me of Mr. McGregor and Peter Rabbit, and just an old shed in a garden. And I'd like to do something with it apart from just pull it down. So I might need to see if I can get any ideas. And then create a teacup chandelier. Just imagine dining al fresco. Oh, it goes on, lovely. Create a hanging herb garden. I picked up this enamel colander, yes, at a boot sale for 50p. In its rusty state, it couldn't be used to prepare food, so we turned it into an unusual hanging basket. What a good idea. It needs no liner. Perfect. Simply add a chain from an old hanging basket, or you can pick up a new one for around £2 and plant it with herbs. What a good idea. Repurpose an old chopping board. Use an old wooden chopping board or enamel tray to make a welcome sign for your garden. Drill holes on either side and thread a thick cord to hang. Again. What a good idea. Repaint bathroom furniture. I found this grotty cane shelf at a jumble sale for £1. It was painted a rather disgusting 1970s brown, so I transformed it with a lick of chalk paint, and now it looks a useful garden shelf. Oh, that's nice with the bits and the plants. What a good idea. Oh, I really enjoyed that section. This word, decoupage, basically it's glue and paper, isn't it? Making it layers and layers and layers. Yeah, PVA glue, 2 brushes, clear varnish, and a few comics, and you cover furniture and all sorts. I think it's nice when it's vintage florals and things like that. I'm not as keen on the Beano, but I think it's quite a therapeutic craft to do. I do like to be a bit like the seaside. Punch and Judy, 10 chairs again. The pier, unfortunately so many of the piers in the UK are just in disrepair. Best of British Motors. A to sell of afternoon tea. Artists make your own tea, high tea, tea. I bet they're lovely to go to, the Cotswold vintage fairs. Meeting Wayne, melting down soaps, repairing Dr. Martens and upcycling old boots. That reminds me of a programme that's on television at the moment called The Repair Shop. It's so interesting, and they're just so amazingly clever how they repair anything and everything. Wayne Henry's life has been revolved around thrift. Not vintage per se, rather a good old-fashioned, waste not, want not attitude. He grew up making his own clothes and wearing second-hand. His pot melting down led to the tiny soldiers for him to play with, and his nan remoulding every last gram of soap to form new bars. His career of design kicked off after he spent his rent money on a band rehearsal space. Along with his childhood sweetheart to him to empty his wardrobe and sell the contents on Camden Market, the gamble paid off, and soon they had a row of stalls selling handmade and vintage clothing alongside repaired Dr. Martens. Since then, the self-taught designers had an eclectic career, launching cult fashion label Red or Dead, turning the Tate into a silent disco, sprucing up Bournemouth beach huts and designing sustainable, affordable housing in Gateshead. Goodness, that's great. That's lovely. Why do you think wearing vintage and upcycling furniture feels good? Because it's right and because it's human. It's the most natural way to be. To gather things and to make them last. That's what we've become good at as human beings. We turn bits of stone into tools and flint into arrows. That's what we do. Inherently human beings are creative, and that's one of the things that's given us the ability to thrive and to prosper. I like that idea. Vintage festival highlights. Learn how to Lindy hop with music and dance. Try out Northern Soul. Oh, there's some great music with Northern Soul. saying them, I enjoy them, but the prospect of them, I just think, oh, card games I don't mind, like things like this Snap. The less rules the better. But some of these are, the older ones are worth a pretty penny. Vintage picture. Oh, it's so nice to see a suitcase with crockery and cutlery. Oh, this nice little set. We are pretty nostalgic. We are about passionate people making a difference, reusing the past to make a beautiful present, ensuring ethical approach to everything we do, traditional values at our core, taking pride in the best Britain has to offer, and youthfulness, being nothing to do with age here. That's nice. It's good philosophy. I love that name for a carriage, Doris. That's nice. That's so figures. Projects build apple crate shelves. That's great. Display your trinkets, curate your own mood board. Yeah. Frame your thoughts. This is the subject of this was a most natural history. Forage shells, botanical drawings and messages in bottles. Joke Keeling embarks on adventures in heartfelt decorating with a lifetime's hoard of natural trinkets. Butterflies made from matte paper, bunch shells and sealable glass, pictures of creatures from the deep and botanical diagrams. Collecting. One day I told myself I would decorate a whole room around these treasured souvenirs. Some would say it's just a little clutter, but not. No, I think it's just sweet. Well, yes, because each item would tell a story. I like that. But like many ideas, it's fallen by the wayside, and for the last year they've been sitting in a corner of my lounge gathering dust. So when I met shop owner and crafter Nikki Fretwell at the Nostalgia Stonehouse, when writing issue number 1 of Salt House had lined orange crates with maps and filled them with natural trinkets, I was inspired to finally transform my random collection of lost and found things into heartfelt home decorations. That's nice. There are so many things you can make with old maps. A paper wall, line the backs of the apricots, fashion with your own paper bunding. Yeah, that's nice. Hang plates on the wall, design your own vignette. Make lavender filled pillows. Lost and found shells. The lost art of letter writing. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? It's so lovely when you get a letter in the post that's got a handwritten front and you know it's going to be handwritten. That's hearing the rustle and the snap of the letterbox makes me happy. Then comes a rush of anticipation. What could it be? Often a handful of junky flyers, but ever so often it's a handwritten letter. Letter writing has been teetering on the brink of extinction for over a decade, but it's time for a revival. I agree. Pleasures of Jim Ravel's nostalgics, joys of putting pen to paper, yes. Writing a letter is as enjoyable as receiving one, but whether you pick up the stationery or scrawl on a heartfelt note on the inside of a cereal packet, there's an indescribable satisfaction in putting pen to paper. Oh, I love the whole process of choosing the paper, choosing what I'm going to write, and then popping it in the envelope, finding a sticker to go on the envelope. Then something tangible makes its way into the hands of another. It creates a connection that technology lacks. I agree. There's no reason letters are kept in shoeboxes across the globe. They capture moments in time like photographs. This isn't to say we should shun emails, just to remember the power of a letter when it comes to sharing our innermost thoughts, or a better way to communicate genuine gratitude, consuming love, sincere sympathy, or heartfelt congratulations. So let's celebrate smudged ink, curled corners, and quiet afternoons rereading old letters and bring the lost art back to life. Oh, I love a natural perfume fragrance. I used to make rose perfume like a lot of young girls did when they were younger. Gosh, the mess I used to make. Flamingos by the sea. Everything pink. I wonder if it's still there. It's like a winter Alice in Wonderland a little bit, isn't it? I'm not a huge fan of pink, but flamingos. Seashore foraging. Oh, it's nice just to have a little wander on the sea, listening to the waves coming in and picking up a pretty shell or a pretty stone. Waiting for the tide to go out. We always used to say about my dad, oh, he's taken the plug out. Wild food, tappers, wild tea, nettle dipping oil, 3-cornered leaf garlic bread, kelp crisps, cream sea beet bruschetta. Yeah, they're not particularly jumping out at me. The wonderful world of shabby chic. Crackle paint, stenciling and decoupage reveals the secrets behind painting vintage furniture with chalk paint. Number 6, once you go over it, use a fine sandpaper for a slightly weathered look. And then decorating again with the word I can't say. Decoupage. Beehives and victory rolls. Bristol Page vintage stylist, the pop-up parlour reveal how to turn your looks into a glamorous do worthy of a 1950s pin-up sensation. My goodness, they used to put so much effort into their hair and makeup. Not for me, I don't think. Very clever though. The Northern. I hope it's not too loud, the background, because we've got, I think, a storm coming and I can hear the wind really building up outside. Anyway, we're shortly to the end. Deliciously white chocolate and pink peppercorn slow gin fizz sorbet. Oh my word. Raspberry Eater mess bars. Camper van feasts. Oh, something that I'd like to do. Like everyone when you find the time. Not so much the cooking though. Just the moseying around. I like the idea of stopping to make a cup of tea, getting out a good book or some drawing, pencil paper, asking them once for my birthday. The library delve into the fascinating history of wild swimming. I have heard quite a lot about that recently. Explore mysterious woodlands and forage in hedgerows with our pick of our Britain's best countryside books. Camping. Food for free. Taking the waters and the happy campers. It's coming to the end of this issue. In the next issue, the mood board project. Hopefully I've got that issue. And then there's lovely little adverts at the back. Cottage garden candles and teas. Fabrics. Textures. Home store. Lovely. Road trip creams, tightly squeeze. Pepper cricket. Such an enchanting magazine. Slightly longer this video, I think, because there were some really interesting little articles in there, I thought. But I really hope you've enjoyed this quiet time for yourself. I hope I haven't talked too much, possibly a little bit too much. And I just want to thank you for joining me, and take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself, and I'll see you again